Welcome to Spectrum News at 4, coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the top stories. President Tinubu says nation's foreign policy now Nigeria-centered. Federal government launches multilingual toolkit to boost Nigeria's participation. In other stories, U.S. examines latest Iranian proposal to unblock Strait of Hormuz. Details of these stories and more will be brought to you in just a moment. Good afternoon. We appreciate you for joining us on the news at 4. Our first report this afternoon is that President Bola Tinubu has announced a new foreign policy framework that puts Nigeria first. Tinubu, at the opening of an induction course for newly appointed ambassadors and high commissioners in Abuja, said that rapidly evolving international system has made reordering of the nation's foreign policy imperative. He further explained that the old 4D policy anchored on democracy development, demography and diaspora will now be rearranged as demography, development, diaspora and democracy. Away from that, the federal government has launched simplified books and toolkits to enhance Nigeria's participation in the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, inaugurated the initiative in Kano during the Northwest Sub-National Tour and Public-Private Press P3 engagement on AfCFTA implementation. According to her, the project will ease trade procedures and boost non-oil exports. She also highlighted that regulatory agencies would be present in Kano to provide essential services, including business registration, product certification, and the issuance of certificates of origin for exporters. Meanwhile, a fresh xenophobic violence in South Africa has reportedly claimed the lives of 2 Nigerians. The development comes as Nigerians living in South Africa demanded protection by the federal government, saying that protecting Nigerians abroad is both a constitutional and moral obligation of the government. The Nigerian Consulate General in Johannesburg confirmed that Amarimiro Emmanuel and Ekpenyong Andrew were killed in separate incidents linked to rising anti-foreigner tensions. The Consul General Ninikawa Okeuche disclosed in a statement that Emmanuel died from injuries allegedly sustained after being bitten by personnel of the South African National Defence Force on April 20. On security matters, the Nigerian Air Force NAF says it has carried out a coordinated airstrike targeting terrorist positions in Guduf, located in the Mandara Mountains, the northeastern border of Nigeria and Cameroon, primarily within Adamawa State and extending into Borno State, as part of ongoing counter-terrorism operations under Operation Hadin-Kai. According to a statement released today and signed by Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, Director of Public Relations and Information at the NAF headquarters, the operation was conducted on 27 April 2026 following credible intelligence and confirmatory intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance reports. Ejodame added that NAF Air Assets executed a coordinated operation that identified multiple terrorist structures and logistics hubs actively supporting insurgent activities within the area, adding that the mission was carried out with precision and in line with established rules of engagement. Talking politics now, former Labour Party presidential candidate in 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has consulted former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan on the state of the nation and the 2027 general elections. Obi disclosed this after a closed-door meeting with the former president in Abuja. He led a delegation of Southeast political leaders to the meeting, including serving and former lawmakers, as well as former governor of Imo State, Achike Udenwa. Briefing journalists after the meeting, the former Anambra State governor said the visit was part of ongoing consultations ahead of the 2027 elections. Moving now to Africa, Ghana has reportedly ended talks for a multi-year aid deal with the United States after Washington demanded access to citizens' personal data. The United States has been striking new health aid deals across Africa after the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump dismantled the long-standing USAID agency and curtailed the role of NGOs. Reports also added that the U.S. team became hostile and piled on pressure after Ghana pushed back on the demand for personal data. Still in Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced the creation of a paramilitary guard backed by U.S. and Emirati investments to secure its vast mining operations. The General Inspectorate of Mines, IGM, said the guard was a paramilitary special unit intended to secure the entire mineral exploitation chain in the DRC. Reports say the new unit will be deployed gradually with an initial 2,500 to 3,000 personnel expected to be operational by December, following 6 months of training in military collaboration. On the foreign scene, the White House has said that it is examining Iran's latest proposal to unblock the Strait of Hormuz 2 months after a U.S. and Israeli offensive sent shock waves through the global economy. Recall that peace talks between the United States and Iran to end the Middle East war and fully reopen the vital strait have so far proven inconclusive since a ceasefire came into force. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has met with top security advisors to discuss the Iranian proposal after Tehran passed written messages to Washington via Pakistan, spelling out its red lines in negotiations, including on nuclear issues and the Strait of Hormuz. Still on the foreign scene, the United Arab Emirates has officially withdrawn from its oil-producing alliance, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC, and its allies OPEC+. The decision confirmed today marks a major shift within the group long dominated by Saudi Arabia and comes at a time of heightened global energy uncertainty driven by tensions involving Iran. Meanwhile, the move is seen as a political win for U.S. President Donald Trump, who has repeatedly criticized OPEC for manipulating oil prices. Trump has accused the group of overcharging global consumers and has tied U.S. military support for Gulf nations to concerns over rising oil costs. Still to come in the news. PSG set to host Bayern Munich in Champions League semi-final clash tonight. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more after the short break. Welcome back and thank you so much for sticking with us. Now let's continue with the rest of our news stories. On our business news, to tackle Nigeria's worsening jet fuel shortage and price surge, the federal government has asked marketers to grant airline operators a 30-day credit window and sell aviation fuel directly to them. The development is equal to a series of high-level engagements convened by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority following an earlier meeting called by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Management on April 22 to 23, 2026. The session brought together representatives from the Ministries of Aviation and Petroleum Resources, as well as major aviation agencies, including the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, airline operators, and aviation fuel marketers. Still in business, the livestock sector may be on the cusp of transformation as stakeholders rally behind a private sector-led investment drive capable of unlocking up to $3 billion in pastoral market opportunities over the next 3 to 5 years. The renewed push comes amid growing consensus among government and industry players on the need for urgent reforms to address long-standing structural bottlenecks that have constrained growth. The investment drive took center stage at a 3-day high-level forum in Abuja, where producers, processors, financiers and policymakers convened to negotiate deals, forge supply agreements and rebuild trust across a fragmented value chain. Let's move now to health news, where the World Health Organization says vaccines prevent about 1.8 million deaths annually in Africa, underscoring their critical role in public health. In a statement to mark African Vaccination Week from April 24 to 30, themed "For Every Generation, Vaccines Work," the WHO Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Mohamed Janabi, said immunization saves lives and strengthens families. He added that vaccination enables communities to thrive without the disruption of disease outbreaks. According to him, since 2000, about 500 million African children have been protected through routine immunization. Still in health, stakeholders in the health sector have intensified calls for improved access to healthcare services in rural communities, highlighting disparities in cancer diagnosis, treatment and survival rates across Nigeria. They made the call at a virtual meeting marking the 6th edition of the Dear Doctor series, an annual gathering of health experts, advocates and partners aimed at boosting childhood cancer awareness nationwide. Let's move now to the world of sports, where Paris Saint-Germain PSG will face Bayern Munich tonight in a semi-final encounter of the UEFA Champions League. The match is scheduled to kick off at 8 p.m. at the Parc des Princes in Paris. PSG is hopeful that the home advantage will give their team an edge, while Bayern Munich remains confident in their squad's experience on the European stage. Still talking sports, Manchester City are in discussions with the Premier League over the rearrangement of 2 fixtures that could have a major impact on the title race run-in. Reports say the changes are being considered due to City's involvement in the FA Cup final, which has created a scheduling clash during a decisive stage of the season. City's away match against AFC Bournemouth, originally scheduled for May 17, is expected to be moved after their cup final falls on that day. Their home fixture against Crystal Palace, which was previously postponed from March, is yet to be given a confirmed date by the Premier League. On our entertainment news, Afrobeat singer Davido won Best International Act at the 2026 Liberian Entertainment Awards, defeating Ghana, Rema and Tyler. The ceremony was held at Lisner Auditorium in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, the award adds to Davido's international honors as Nigerian artists continue to appear on major global award platforms while Afrobeats gains worldwide reach. And that's all we have for you at this time. Kindly follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Good afternoon.